Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 9 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team. And it's live. It's just gone 5:30 PM UK time on Friday, October 25th. We are circa 56 minutes away from the Gameweek 9 FPL Deadline. Over the next 55 minutes or so, I'll be trying to get through as many of the YouTube community's FPL dilemmas as possible ahead of 6:30 PM. Before I get into the questions, just to cover off a couple of bits. For many of you, the answer to your question will be on stream. Erling Haaland, triple captaincy. If you have come to this stream thinking, I'm going to do it, you do it. If you haven't, then don't. That's the simple advice. If you own him, clear captaincy. If you're a nutcase like me and don't own him, you're looking at alternatives. And my favourite is Brian Bumo. That's who's getting the armband for me this week. I think Haaland, Bumo, Palmer would be my top three in that order. You can also see rotating with my top 10 captaincy picks, my correct score predictions for all 10 games this game week. Expect City to be the highest scorers with Brentford and Chelsea just behind that. You can probably tell why those are my captaincy picks now. Below me, you'll see the benching dilemmas screen where there are two players together. The player with the tick is the preferred option to start from those two players. They run in order, pages 1 to 4 of outfield players, and then goalkeepers on page 5. Below that, you'll see all the flagged players in FPL and the next 5 game weeks for all 20 teams. Bottom right hand corner, you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. And on the top right, you'll see my current team. 2 free transfers have been made in the last 25 minutes or so. I have sold Diogo Jota and Jamie Vardy, and I've bought Alejandro Garnacho and Nicholas Jackson. Garnacho is first sub for me. He is an insurance policy against a Bukayo Saka doubt, although I do think he'll play. And he's a player that I want going forward. I'm essentially picking Rodgers over him this week. Next 2 weeks, it'll be Garnacho over Rodgers, I should imagine. So I line up this week. Raya, Porro, Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel. I'll be really clear now, guys. If you're asking me any questions about playing Trent or Gabriel over any defenders from any other team, basically bar Pedro Porro and Manchester City players, my answer are going to be Gabriel and Trent Alexander-Arnold, so you can delete them questions. Midfield 4 for me is Saka, Captain Bumo, Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers, and the powerful front three now for me is Watkins, Solanke and Jackson. I have rolled the third transfer. I was going to go Bukayo Saka to Heung-min Son. As I've just told our advanced tier patrons on the team news stream, I don't think Son will start this Sunday, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. You can't buy him at this stage. But for those who've gone early, I'd possibly consider running the gauntlet actually. I think there's a fair chance that Tottenham have given the week off to recover and said, look, calm down. And I think there's every chance with the game being on Sunday, he'll try and train tomorrow. And if he trains well tomorrow and feels fine, would not be surprised to see him at Selhurst Park on Sunday. Bukayo Saka, I'm pretty confident will play, to be totally honest. That's my take. I have no intel. I don't know nothing. I'm just James on the stream. I've no intel on Saka, Son, or any other player this game week for what it's worth. But if I'm shared anything that does feel like intel over the next 55 minutes or so, I will be sure to share it with you. Right. That's the graphics and all the gizmo jazz stuff done. Let's get into the questions. Kira's 95 says, evening James, 1 free transfer planning to wildcard in game week 12. Would you do Saka to Foden for free or Saka to Palmer and Robinson to Fast for a -4 or roll? So I would typically say -4, you need to get Fast to make that happen off of Robinson. And Robinson's got a few more good fixtures, hasn't he? Robinson would come in if Saka out. Okay, so you got Robinson for first sub as well. Yeah, I'd do it, actually. Yeah, the -4 is not effective of the Fast for Robinson. Your -4 effective is Palmer over Saka. And I think I'd do it because I think that's the priority mid-range, premium midfield player to get, in my opinion. So if Saka does miss out, you're laughing. I'd probably get it done. And I just think Palmer will be an ongoing every single week for you. Can I make it work? Can I make it work? And if you are attacking in the next 3 weeks, I think this is the best way to do it. So actually, I'd get it done. I'm surprised at myself saying that. Sean says, hi James, I have money to sell Gabriel rather than Trent as part of a double transfer to get Palmer and 8 Norian. Gabriel at the right move with Trent's fixtures. Yeah, look, there's possibly a slight preference on that because of doubts about Arsenal players. I think Timber will probably play as well, by the way. Calafiori probably a bigger concern. Yeah, you're probably right in terms of moving Gabriel out. Yeah, again, I can understand the want and the requirement to get to Palmer. Jake says, hi James, hope all is good. Would you do Porro to Ray and 8 Norrie this week to enable me to do Saka to Palmer? This is every question going to be this. Would it involve me playing Pinnock over Ray and 8 Norrie this week or Roll starting Saka and Smith Rowe first sub? No, I'd get it done. Perfect scenario for you. Bench 8 Norrie this week. Your Brentford player's got a good fixture. Play 8 Norrie from next week. Yeah, I'm reluctant to sell Porro. I'm reluctant to sell Gabriel or Trent. You can probably see that from my own team, right? But I think, yes, priority would be getting towards Palmer. Ayub Seller says, hi James, how confident are you in Van den Berg minutes going forward? Thanks. I'd say, yeah, pretty much. I guess that Rico Henry is approaching a return, and at that point there probably will be a choice between Aguero and Van den Berg. I think Van den Berg might get the nod, actually. So that's where the concern point will come when Rico Henry is back fit. Murphy says, Johnson or Garnacho if I have Solanke already? So, that's a good question. And it's a good question because I know there'll be people thinking, why haven't you gone Johnson over Garnacho? Well, it's a couple of reasons. One, the rolling of the other transfer still allows me, should I want to, and if he's back, to go Saka to Son next week. Now, going Johnson would block that. It's as simple as that. And I don't think I'd want to upgrade Johnson to Son. So that's why the reason why I've completely overlooked Brennan Johnson at this moment. If you haven't got Porro, though, then it's fine. All I'd say is I think you'll hit Gameweek 12 and you may want to move that, by which point you've already missed Garnacho against Leicester in Gameweek 11. So I really think there's a big swing there with Garnacho moving to the left last week. That's put him right back on radar. Those who listen to me most weeks have heard me say I think he's really going to be a thing at some point this season. Dipped to 6.2. I'm in. It's worth. And once I'd looked at that as my ideal Jota solution and was looking at getting Jackson in 12, I was like, go Vardy or Jackson now. What am I waiting for? And I think that's a mistake I'd have made in the past. And Vardy's still got a good fixture this week. And he's got another good fixture next week. Yeah, all that's true. But Jackson's the one I'd have wanted longer term. So he's in. Burke says, hi James, looking to wildcard game at 12 and have Jota. Who's your best replacement out of Garnacho, Maddison, Johnson, Bowen? So for that, it's Johnson. Perfect for the next 3 weeks. Are any of them worth transferring in this week to bench Rodgers? Cheers. I mean, if you haven't got Saka, you possibly don't feel like you need the insurance so much. There's possibly a value swing here. Think about it like this. If Garnacho did score on Sunday, and the other reason for not starting him, by the way, I don't think it's a certain starter this week. I should add in. But it possibly is a swing this week with Garnacho. Jota's obviously going to go down fairly quickly. I'd be quite tempted to get it done, I think. Alex MJ87 says, and by the way, it's Johnson, isn't it? So you're on that page. Yeah, I get Johnson in and play him over Rodgers. I'm talking nonsense, sorry. Busy day. I don't like Friday deadlines. Alex MJ87 says, hi James, got Saka, Johnson, Jimenez, Rodgers. Bench 1 to come on if Saka doesn't make it, or sell Saka for Foden and bench 1. I've considered obviously going Foden, but every time I looked at it, I thought, well, if Son is back, I'm going to want to go Son next week. And I probably, if Son's not back, I'm happy to have Saka once we hit 12. So I might just suffer it for the next few weeks. That's why I wanted to keep my options open on that. Is Foden the best choice for this week? Yeah, of course. But we know KDB is constantly close. I do think Foden starts tomorrow, but I also thought that this time last week as well. In terms of all that like bench, reluctantly Morgan Rodgers, mate. John says, hello mate, Captain Foden or Watkins, thanks. I mean, out of that, Foden. Chase the upside of it. Luke Wilson says, evening James, 3 options for transfers. 1, Saka to Foden. 2, Saka to Palmer and Trent to Porro. 3, roll and pray Saka starts. Have 2 frees but an injury ridden bench. That I'll be clear on this. This is going to answer everybody's question, I think. You can get the Cole Palmer for free right now. Do it. That's my take. I'm pretty sure I'm going to answer every question that's about that the same way. Hasselbank's win says, James, who's the most overrated player in the Premier League in your opinion? Someone who everyone hypes but you don't see it. Also, a word on Reece James last weekend at Anfield, please. Yeah, Reece did all right last week. Saw a lot of the ball in the period he was on. I thought he did okay. Yeah. Don't think it's a certain start this weekend. Please don't consider that for FPL as it stands. I think he'll start, but I saw Gary Mantle, our Chelsea correspondent, hasn't predicted him to start. So I certainly wouldn't go near that if that's part of the question. Most overrated player in the Prem? You're influenced by 4 minutes. You think people, someone like Rashford, for example, at the moment. Oh, God. That's so rough picking out one player, isn't it? Paquetá's not going to bother me for a while, is he? Bruno Fernandes, that'll upset a few. Billy Taylor says, yo, Jay Lynn's got it right this time. Plan was to go Saka to Son, but now not sure what to do. You already have Palmer. Would you downgrade Garnacho or Brennan Johnson, or use 2 free transfers to get Salah? So, also, once they'd gone Jota to Garnacho, I could have gone Saka to Salah. Done. Easy. That was it. Done. I chose to go Jackson instead because I'm different. No, I wasn't happy that if I went the Salah route, it was just going to make my options really, really tight from the structure I wanted. I prefer the structure without Mo. But I have left it open to potentially next week go Watkins to Cunha and Saka to Salah. I don't think I will, but I wanted to leave that option open. Not desperate to put Mo in for Arsenal away. So I wanted to leave that option. It's another reason why my intention very much is to roll this additional transfer so I can still make 2 frees without being in a, oh shit. Because Salah might be the one I want to captain next week, and I'm aware of that. So I'm going to leave the opportunity to be able to get him in for free should I deem to want to do so. Don't want to get rid of Watkins, but I might be in a position next week where that looks right with Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea away in 3 of the 4 that follow this week. So it's a kind of a no for me on Salah, but it's very dependent on your structures. Like, if you're downgrading a Saka to Garnacho or Brennan Johnson, what? Is it like Johnson for 3 weeks to then go back to Saka? The problem with going Salah for 3 weeks and then going back to Saka is you won't. Because you'll look at Salah away to Southampton in Gameweek 12 and just not do it. And that's fine. You can carry Salah a bit more and then maybe make that move down the road. So, difficult one, Billy. It does depend a lot on your structure. I mean, just on the face of it, you're saying buy Salah or Garnacho or Johnson. Salah, right? Verticus says, hey James, with Son out, which Spurs midfield asset is better for the next 3? Kulusevski or Brennan? Mate, he's still Brennan. It's still Brennan Johnson, yeah. Verticus says, just done that. Sean says, follow-up question. Late riser reference a potential double game for Chelsea in January on his Twitter earlier. Is that right? New one to me. It's possible, yeah. It is possible on a number of factors. I think it's unlikely, but it's possible. The reason it's possible is, and it's kind of dependent on what happens. We spoke about this just briefly on the end of Clash of Correspondence yesterday. So Chelsea's Carabao Cup quarter-final, should they beat Newcastle in midweek, is scheduled for the same midweek that Chelsea's last Europa Conference League game would be. So there is a possible school of thought that the Brentford fixture maybe on the Sunday beforehand could move. I don't think it will. I think it's more likely the Carabao Cup quarter-final would be pushed back. This isn't a thing until Chelsea beat Newcastle in midweek at the Carabao Cup. Should they do so, we'll discuss it and look at the options in more detail because then it's going to become a thing. It's also possibly a little bit relevant of who they draw. I actually think that there's a possibility that Chelsea will play 2 nights in a row. I do think that there's a good chance they'll end up playing in the Carabao Cup on the Wednesday and in the Conference League on the Thursday. And quite frankly, they're picking 2 different teams in it. I don't think they'll be that bothered. I think that might be what ends up happening. But Late Riser's absolutely right to point it out. Yeah, it is a possibility. Next up is Kari. I'm considering using my 3rd free transfer to move Conser to Rico Lewis or 8 Nori. Would move Gabriel on the bench if I go with Rico. Do you see both of these as sidesteps and perhaps not worth the free transfer? Like, I completely understand investing in Rico Lewis or 8 Nori at this moment. I wouldn't go Conser to 8 Nori now this week. No point. You want to go Conser to Rico Lewis this week? Yeah, I get it. It's fine. Rico Lewis is desirable for a lot of people. No reason to think he won't start tomorrow. Reece M says, hi James, would you start Welbeck over Semenyo? 1 free transfer could do Welbeck to Vissa or Raul Jimenez. Thanks and good luck. Probably yes, though you have to acknowledge there's a possibility that Welbeck will be a sub tomorrow. It's probably more likely that he plays or he doesn't. On that basis, yeah, probably with the fixture chance playing Welbeck. Yahya says, hello James, did Did you watch the Barcelona game on Wednesday? Yes, but not intently, in all honesty. Who do you think will win El Clasico tomorrow? I kind of feel a lot like I'm watching my club with how Tottenham play nowadays. Kind of. I don't even know who's at home, but I'll say the team that's at home. Good luck stopping Vinicius Jr. He was incredible Tuesday. He's covered on the Clayton and James show. Joe Briggs says, hi James, loving the content, mate. Which three would you play out of Gabriel, Trent, Milenkovic and 8 Nori? So which one we benching here? Probably Milenkovic, 8 Nori. Slight preference to 8 Nori because of offensive, possibly. I'm thinking leaving at 8 Nori. Also pick 2 out of Rogers, Smith Rowe, Semenyo to start. I'd go Rogers and Semenyo as long as there's no confliction, i.e. you've got a Villa defender. Galazzo Bias says, hey James, what do you think of Foden captaincy punt? I think it's a punt, mate. But yeah, look, if you're going against Haaland and that's the one you fancy, mate, you crack on, mate. Eddie R says, evening James, what do you think of Saka to Foden for the next 3, then moving him to Palmer in 12, or just get Palmer now? Worried Foden is too much for a minute's risk, but love the fixtures, cheers. Yeah, it's just Palmer for me. Just Palmer for me. The value's going to keep going up. You're going to keep chasing your tail on it. What do you do when you get to like game week 11? You're like, oh, I don't know if Foden's going to play. And it's like, oh, Palmer's playing Arsenal. I'd just get Palmer in now. Now's the time for me. Could Foden outscore Palmer over this period? Yeah. And he could do it playing a game less, by the way. Of course he could, because he could go off tomorrow, for example, right? I'd just be going to Palmer. Same answer for everybody this is going to be. Vivek Gore says, hi James, who to bring in from Vissa, Rao or Cunha to fund a move for Semenyo to Foden? Now 2 free transfers, thanks. Timing wise, I'd be chancing Vissa right now. I did consider it. I had the exact money, is another option I looked at. Exact money to, once I'd gone Garnacho and then Salah, I'd have had 0.2 in the bank to go Vardy to Vissa, and I did look at that as an option as well. But again, I just felt it left me too jammed from a structure perspective. That was probably the best one in terms of the immediate for the upcoming fixtures, but it left me jammed from future moves. It would have cut me off of people even like Nicholas Jackson. I was like, I don't want to do that. So it was going to cut me off for so many players. I don't want to do that at the moment. Sundini says, benching dilemma, bench one of Robinson, Cunha, Rogers, defensive player, mate. Alan Holohan says, evening James, the only way I can get Saka to Palmer is by downgrading Havertz for a hit. Would you take the hit? And if so, Solanke, Cunha or Vissa? Thanks. It's probably still Solanke with the next 3 fixtures, mate. Is that worth a hit? Saka and Havertz to Palmer and Solanke hit. Borderline. It's close. Probably yes. Ayab, yes, I do think Foden starts. CMP says, hi James, big fan of your work. Thanks for the content. Would you start Morgan Rogers or James Maddison? Apologies if they appear on benching dilemmas. No, I mean, I'd probably pick Madders. Yeah, because, you know, it's a consistent animal, so it's kind of any game, any time. Not a player you ever really want to bench. So, yeah, I would play Madders. Phil Bailey, I never asked, but Woodham Rogers or Visser and McNeil? Can I say Visser and Rogers? Tempted to say Visser Rogers and leave the money. Why not? Why not? I get it. Wood's form is incredible. We've kind of highlighted it. You know, 3rd highest scorer actually since the hat trick, including the hat trick at Newcastle on Boxing Day last year in the league. Like, it's phenomenal, right? But I'm tempted to say Rogers and Visser off of that. I get it. It's a money thing. If I was doing it now, it's Visser, mate. Billy Taylor says, I heard a rumour that if you don't smash a like, you'll get less than 20 points this week. Huge if true. Have you heard that? What Billy just said, guys? If you don't smash a like, you get less than 20 points this week. Billy, is it acceptable to like your own stream? I don't know if it is. Can everyone smash a like, please? It's about, 15% of you have done so. Don't cost anything, guys. Means a lot to me. I'd be very grateful. The stream is free. John says, good luck this week, fella. Hit that like button. Bench Garnacho or Rogers. Cheers. I've gone Garnacho to start, mate. Sorry, I've gone Rogers to start. Garnacho bench. Sorry. Close call. Influenced by I don't think Garnacho is a certain start. I haven't played 90 minutes last night. I think both teams win 2-1. I hope Garnacho does well, even if he remains on my bench, because others might be chasing that and not getting there in the next couple of weeks, and I'll have him set for 11. Next up is Sam Emerson. Evening, James. Happy Friday. Deadline thoughts on Eze and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to Garnacho and Jackson for a hit. High on those two coming in long term, but conscious it could be for selling 2 talisman with home fixtures. Yeah, and obviously, look, you know me, I'm going to be very reluctant to say sell Eze when he's about to play my team, right? Calvert-Lewin next 3. Fulham, Southampton, West Ham. Whereas Vardy was like, Forest at home, Ipswich away, and Forest doesn't feel quite so good now. And then Manchester United away. So Calvert-Lewin's 3 feels better. Although, if you want to move to Jackson 12, I just glanced, Calvert-Lewin's got Brentford at home. That might make that a tough sell as well, actually. For a hit, I think it's a no, mate. I think it's a no. 3, yeah. I think for a hit, it's a no. Ryan Quinn says Saka and Maddison to Johnson and Palmer for 3. Maddison scares me for starts. Ryan, you're going to get no objection from that from me. I think Johnson's a better asset than Maddison. Look, when you move from one player to another player within the same team, like, and the immediate, yeah, Maddison could do better. I've been clear on Palmer. Eddie says, which one of Raya, Gabriel or Jackson to downgrade to fund Son to Palmer? Well, I guess that depends. Like, I wouldn't be downgrading Jackson. So it's Raya or Gabriel, isn't it? I would probably look at it and think probably Raya is the right answer. But that said, Vardy will hold for Gabriel at the same sort of value. If you want to do that sort of thing, you want to leave your option open. Whereas once you come down from Raya, you'll find it very difficult to go back. So might depend a little bit on your structure, Eddie. I certainly wouldn't be selling Jackson at this moment. Dan says Van der Ven, Dunk, Conser. Which one would you start, James? Lewis Dunk, actually, probably. LP says, hi, James. Do you think Cunha is worth the 1 million more than Strand Larsen for next week? If yes, why? Cheers. Yes, I do, actually. It's close. Like, it's right that Cunha's worth more. I think he's got more capability to go off big, like the hat-trick at Stamford Bridge last year. I think he's got more of that capability in him. I actually think it would be a captaincy option for a few people in Gameweek 11. Idiots like me taking Haaland on. Although I'm unlikely to end up there now. I'd probably, as like I said, if I end up going Salah next week, then I look at Cunha. Otherwise, I'm probably going to overlook him. But yes, my intention had always been to leave the money out to go Cunha rather than Larson. It's always something I've wanted to do. So I think subconsciously my answer is yes. Frederick Hertz says, want to go without Haaland and with all the others in Game Week 12. Is that reason to stick with Saka? I can go Trent Zavardio or go Trent, Eze, Watkins, 8, Norrie, Salah, Strand, Larsen next week. There's a lot going on here. So we're talking about selling Haaland in Game Week 12. Right, this is something we could revisit in Game Week 12. Is that reason to stick with Saka? It might be, but again, Palmer. Andreas says, evening James, looking at Saka, Jota and Johnson to Palmer, Bumo and Garnacho for a hit. Other options is just Saka and Jota to Foden and Bumo. You mean that's we'll just appreciate your thoughts, can you, Spurs? Just trying to look at the money here. I mean, Bumo, yeah. It is chasing it a bit now, though, but the fixtures are next 5, the top Mateka is still great. Yeah, get him in. I presume the Johnson to Garnacho needs to be done as well, therefore, from a money perspective. Just trying to look at that. Jota, Bumo's the same, basically. Probably is a money thing, isn't it? Yeah, Palmer, mate. Same thing. LFC, BSFC says, start Martinelli and bench Welbeck or sell Welbeck. Start either Strand, Larsen or Jimenez. Just roll. I mean, if Welbeck didn't start this week and with Liverpool, Man City next, you'd probably feel some form of urge to have got rid of that. But you might be well up from a value perspective. I don't know, mate. I mean, I'd probably start Welbeck over Martinelli this week. And if Welbeck doesn't make it, you've got Martinelli is a decent first sub. Probably look at it that way. Yeah, I'd probably do that for the minute and just breathe on it, I think. James Lovegrove says, afternoon, mate. No question this week. Just here wishing everyone a good one. Yeah, wish everyone a good game week. John says, Havertz to Solanke to captain in 11 thoughts. By the way, Ange has more international experience than Arteta. You said he didn't. Oh, it's a reference to, I might have said maybe Ange didn't when we were talking about managers for the England job, maybe. Yeah, of course, he's managed Australia. Look, part of me wanting to get to Son was that I would currently, if I don't end up there, probably captain Solanke in 11, and I'm not happy with it. Bro, I'm on stream. God's sakes. Havertz to Solanke. I mean, yeah, Havertz to Solanke in is fine for the next 3. I think I would do it probably. I wouldn't commit to definitely captain him in game week 11. Maybe the only thing I'd say on top of that. Andy Max is Saka to Foden for free. Yes or no? Cheers, mate. No. I'm only saying that because I've not done it, but I'm trying to move different pieces of a puzzle together. So, I mean, just on the face of it, sure, it's fine. There's plenty of upside in that. You know, do I think Foden outscores Saka this week? Yeah, of course I do. But I do think Saka will play. Vivek Gore says 8 Nori or Mikalenko as a long-term pick. I think timing-wise, it's probably 8 Nori now at this stage. We're looking longer term. Like Everton looks good for like the next 4. Wolves looks good kind of after this one for like 8 or 9. Joe Pickle says, sorry, potentially repeat questions from the start. Trent, Gabriel, really unsure. Got Raya. What, mate? Start, bench, sell. I would probably play Trent over Gabriel, maybe. Toss a coin. Carl Miller, Gabriel Lewis, Davis, bench 1. Davis, mate. Eddie says, do you think Mikey Moore could be better option than Diblin as cheap for 8 for Taka moving forward? Do you think he'll start Sunday or Werner again? Werner in the predicted lineup. Also, Odebear obviously back from injury as well. So, yeah. Odebear will be ahead of him at the moment, mate. So, no. But he was good. Andrim08 says, with both Grealish and Doku injured, do you see any way for Foden to get benched? Of course, Pep Guardiola's picking the team, mate. Yeah, of course. Didn't he play Matthias Nunes on? I didn't watch the game. Didn't he play Matthias Nunes off the left in midweek? And so then it could just be Gundogan and Bernardo Silva behind Haaland, right? With Kovacic in the 6. And Savinho on the right. Of course he could. It's Pep, mate. Matt Mahar says, use 1 transfer. Saka to Salah for -4. Already have Palmer. It's a no from me. Greg Frost said, you could potentially do that for free next week. Greg Frost says, I had Arsenal triple defence. I've sold them all. Am I crazy? Greg, you know they're my favourite questions, isn't it? Like someone makes a decision, then I go afterwards, no, mate, you've right fucked up there. Shouldn't have done that. No, you've made your decision. I can understand it with the fixtures that are coming up. Just think that once you hit game week 12, you're going to want to get some of it back. That's all right. Is it crazy? No, not at all. You might get good gains off that. And let's be honest, what's Gabriel done for me since I bought him? What's he got? Like 5 points or something? Like shit, isn't it? So, LP also, would you play Vardy over Gabriel this week? Cheers and have a great weekend. Yeah, I mean, I probably would, yeah. Striker over that, yeah, sure. It's just the other defenders. Oh, I'll play Robinson over it. Nah, sod all that, man. Sod all that. I think there's every chance Arsenal-Liverpool will be 0-0 on Sunday, is my opinion. I think there's every chance. King of Mandalore, would you have Carvalho or Gabriel first sub? Saka is in my first 11, so first sub matters. Gabriel, mate. If it matters, there's no guarantee Carvalho's going to start, is there? Nick Giordiano says, are you still sure Maddison starts this weekend? Cheers, I'm lost on what to do with him. Am I still sure? No. Because I'd certainly expected Salah to start last night, but I still have Maddison in my predicted lineup this weekend, and I think that's part of Maddison obviously only played the 45 on Sunday, so yeah, bit more momentum in him, etc. I do think Maddison will start, but it's not. I'd have still been sort of circa 90% or above. That's probably more down to sort of like 70% or so now. If you don't know where you want to go, Nick, then that's it for now. Stoney says 1 free transfer, Evan Nilsson to Wilson or roll and play one of Evan Nilsson and Dyer. I'd get that done, mate, personally. Gurav says, hi James, play Vandenberg or Rayanate Nori and sell Cotta for Garnacho. Good Cotta. Or someone else, have Brennan, good luck. Fuck's Cotta. It's got to be Jota, isn't it? Must have meant Jota. Play Vandenberg this week with the fixture. Not that I fancy Brentford for a clean sheet in any game, but yeah, play him. And Jota to Garnacho, yeah, fine. Joe Pickle also bench 1. Johnson, Semenyo, Solanke, DCL. With big reluctance, mate. Antoine Semenyo. James Brennan says, hi James, who scores more points over the next 4? Garnacho or Hoyland? Cheers, mate. Back Garnacho, I've gone with him, mate. So Ben Edinson, is a -8 for Haaland worth it if I'd triple captain him? No, mate, it's a waste of a chip. I mean, look, if you took a -8 and you get him in and he scores a hat-trick and it's... Yeah, so it's like, what would that be? Hat-trick is probably 17 points. So there's an extra 17 points, right, with the triple captain. It's not 51. It's an extra 17. Taking 8 off that, so it's an extra 9. An extra 9. So it's basically got to be a hat-trick to make it worthwhile. And there's every chance he'll do it, mate. But no. Ali McDonald, play Semenyo or Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin. Play Matsurawi or Pau Torres. Phil Bailey, Jesus Christ, James, the work you put in is incredible. Cheers, Phil. Much appreciated. Smash a like, please, everyone. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the show, because Jesus Christ, James puts the work in, you can support the show at www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Because if you think this stream is good, it doesn't exist without the support of the patrons. Downstairs says, evening legend, I need to buy one of Cunha, Jimenez or Wood, relying on them to start and aiming for a long-term pick for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks. Please, could you rank them? Cheers. For the next 4 to 6 weeks. I'm just looking at Jimenez's 6th fixture. Brighton at home. Wood Ipswich at home is the 6th. No, it's not. It's Man City away, isn't it? Rank them. The order you've written them. Cunha, Jimenez, Wood. MG Breckett says, Savio in for Son, can afford Foden but doubtful he starts. Thoughts on what? Savinho's a guaranteed start as well, is he? Because it couldn't just be what I said earlier, but then Foden on the right. Hogan, brother, I can't do the stream and be responding to your messages. Big love to you, mate, but I can't do both. It's terrible for the content. You must realise that, mate. Please play it your way. Good luck, pal. Tiffany says, worth a hit for Trent, Saka 2, 8 Norrie / Palmer when I've got 3 injuries. Greaves, Saka, Stewart. Yeah, it's Palmer. Bit reluctant to sell Trent though, Tiffany. What's the alternatives to selling Trent? Are there any? If not, fine. I think there might be some regret around Trent. Okay, for those who are interested, we think we've got a leak of a Leicester team. This is via Sam Martin, who's quite well connected with Leicester. Okay, that's interesting. So, start for Ricardo Pereira. James Justin to left back. Winks in for Skip, which have got predicted. Mavadivi and Fataruas have got predicted, but Buonanotte instead of Ayew. And Jamie Vardy up front. I'll see if I can get that. I don't suppose it's going to matter to too many of you, but I'll see if I can get that updated on the graphic for you very shortly. Ayab says, you've just put Jota in the predicted lineup knowing he's injured. Oh, shit. The advanced tier patrons know that was something I'm going to change. Yeah, and Diaz shouldn't be there either. I do apologise. I'm gonna get that all changed for you, mate. Complete slack. I hate Friday deadlines, mate. Honestly, do my absolute head in. So I'm gonna get that updated. It should be Gakpo and Nunes. Obviously, I'm not predicting Jota to start when Arne Slot has told us that he's out. It's just something I need to update on the graphic, unfortunately, which I'll get done. Thank you for pointing it out, though. Pranaya says, Saka, Diaz to Palmer Johnson for free. Yeah. A man says, hi, James. What do you think is the greatest benefit in delaying the wildcard till game week 18 instead of game week 12, if there is one? Depends on your setup. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong on that, actually. I think it truly depends on how you're set up, right? And how far are you away from the ideal team in 12? Like, you might be in a position where you think, yeah, well, I've come out of that and I've got good Chelsea, good Villa, good Arsenal, got a bit of Liverpool. You might feel like you're in a strong position from that sense. And in which case, then the answer's 18, isn't it? Now, if you got none of that, what I've just said, then you're going to probably want to go a bit earlier, aren't you? So it's not... this one is better than another. It's like what's right for you, right? Basically, what's right for you. I'm hoping, bear with me, that will get the graphic sorted. Hold on a sec. multitasking here, kids. Not easy, especially when you're so useless with technology like me. So, yeah. So that, just to leave that there for a second, is the predicted, or not predicted. Sam's saying it's a bit of a leak. The Leicester team lineup that's going around. So Hermanson, Pereira, Fasu, Colley, Justin, and Diddy, Winks, Fatu, Buonanotte, Mavadidi, and Vardy. And then just for a little bit of clarity, because I did cock up. There's with Gakpo and Darwin Núñez in my predicted Liverpool lineup. Sorry, those lineups will continue to rotate again now. Sorry for the inconvenience on that. Next up is went right to Daniel. The answer's Ange by miles, mate. I just happened to see that question at the end. I've lost my place in the questions, which is now going to probably take me ages to sort my life out. Alright, there's the -8 Haaland. That wasn't too long ago, was it? A man we just did. Right, Steamroller. Hello, James. I have got 8 Nori, Cunha, Mikolenko, DCL on my team and need to bench 2 of them. Right now I'm leaning to play Wolves, guys. Who do you think? Bench the defenders, mate. It's generally nearly always my view, mate. Ben Edinson says, didn't fancy McNeil over Garnacho? No, not at all, mate. It's not to say he's bad, like if you got him, or no, not interested, mate. Not interested in that at all. He's ticking over great. He's playing in the 10 position. Really cool, really nice. Fine. Garnacho got a much higher ceiling in my opinion. McNeil more likely be like 5s. Garnacho might hit me a really big one, and I might even need, now that he's in, right? Because I think of it this way. I'm not comfortable captain Solanke against Ipswich maybe in game week 11. I might end up captaining Garnacho against Leicester. It was really straightforward for me, my friend. Hadi Namzi says, thoughts on Gordon? Alright, it's not quite Abe. He's just signed a new contract. That might help. Like if I had him, I'd probably be selling him at this moment. I think Newcastle players will come back on our radar in game week 12. Now that I've got Jackson in place, one of the moves I'm considering in game week 12 that I don't think people will go near is Solanke to Isak. John Cahill says, evening James, who scores more this week, Visser and Johnson or Solanke and Semenyo? Got to back the Visser route, haven't I? I've got him on a captaincy graphic, mate. Darmo Anderson, sorry I missed you out. Palmer and Bumo for captain, drop out Haaland from captain. If you've got Haaland, my advice is captain him as it is most weeks. I've gone Bumo over Palmer, mate, but play it your way. I made that decision on Monday and haven't wavered from it. Chris Koo says, hi James, would you play Mikolenko ahead of Trent or Gabriel? No. Stoney says, hi James. You can check my answer from right at the start for more detail on that. Stoney says, hi James, 1 free transfer Evan Nilsson to Visser or roll and play one of Evaniston and Dye. I feel like I've already answered that, so you'll know the answer, Visser. Nag and Den, Welbeck start. Don't know. I'm not in Brighton. I'm also not manager of the football team, mate. I'd say probably no. But I don't pick the team, and I'm not there. I'm not giving him the back massage this evening. Frederick Hertz says, start one of Timber, Dean, Dunk. That's different to the Gabriel one because Gabriel's such an offensive threat, right? I think Dunky boy, put a dunk in it. Matthew Locke says, start Eze or Solanke. Dom, mate. Luke Clark says, I've gone Saka to Palmer, Jota to Garnacho, and Watkins to Solanke. Also decided triple captain Haaland. Hashtag play it your way. I wish you luck, Luke. Andrew Sands says, still not had a shave then. No, I ain't had time. It's a fucking Friday deadline, mate. I might have one when it's gone before the game, like genuinely. Thoughts on Foden fitting into City's system this season? Luke has doubts on his minutes due to fitting him into his team. Luke is way more clued up in what Pep may or may not do than me, so I'd recommend listening to whatever he says, because Luke is a specialist on City, and I don't know what Luke said. As the honest truth, I have no clue what he said, so I kind of don't want to elaborate on that anymore. But I think there has to be a danger, as like mentioned, that it's Gundogan and Bernardo behind, in front of Kovacic and / behind Haaland, and you've got De Bruyne to come back into that as well. So I don't know at the moment, is the honest answer. It's just like an assumption, isn't it? I said it this time last week, and this is what I said about Foden. I said, he'll almost definitely start this week. But what we'd said is, well, if he plays Wolves and Sparta Prague, how are you going to feel this time next week? And now really, it's like, well, he didn't play Wolves, and he scored against Sparta, so he's definitely going to play tomorrow. Is he? I mean, probably, yeah, but I had kind of not much doubt he'd start last week. So, yeah, I'll definitely investigate whatever Luke said. Okar says, hi James, start Cunha or Eze. Cunha. What was that, James? Michael Scott says, Delap to Visser or carry transfer. I'd get it done, mate. Yeah, move her on. It's unfortunate for Delap, and Leicester at home next week does look good. Yeah, the opportunity there for Visser, I think I'd do it. If you don't sell Delap now, you will want to do it when you hit Game Week 11, I think. And Dream08 says, explaining my question, Foden benching. I'm also on Haaland owner and want to cap Foden, but his playing time's been weird all season, and I'm really afraid of another weird benching. I can't remember your question, mate, but I think I've said enough on Foden. Nathan Brown says, I have 3 subs and nothing obvious to do otherwise. Would you sell Henderson for another keeper? If so, who would you recommend? Thanks. Would I sell? You got no. I don't want to say sell any Crystal Palace. I hate telling people to sell players when they're about to play my team. You have to know how rough that is for me. Would I want Henderson long term? No, probably not. Although the next 3 fixtures are okay. None of them look great to go to right now. This is the problem. I mean, it's Flecken, isn't it? But then you'll hit like 14 or so, and then it's like, back to Verbruggen in like 12 or something. I'd like to say Verbruggen. I think a long term, that might be the one. And they do have a good fixture now, but you're looking at City and Liverpool as the next 2 after this week. You don't want to look at it. And I'd leave it be, mate. I'd leave him in and reassess that, I think. Game week 12. And consider going for Bruggen in 12. The next 3 for Palace aren't bad. You could look at that move in game week 12 and it will feel better, I think. Phil Bailey says, give this man more likes. My word, this stream is class. Cheers, Phil. Thanks, mate. Mod Ann says, start Emma Smith-Rowe or Semenyo. I'm going to back the Bournemouth man, mate. Maple Leaf says, hi James, hope you're well. I don't see Smith-Rowe on the bench in dilemmas list. Does that mean he's below everyone listed? No, it doesn't. I'd put him, there you go, in between Semenyo and Alexander Arnold now that I've answered the last question. Maple Leaf says, I said on the team news stream I did for the patrons earlier, I said I could have had about 50 names on there this week. That's how it felt. Maple Leaf says, hi James, hope you're well. Such a good question, I thought I'd read it out twice. Thomas Thornton says, triple or not triple R. If you're joining late, I will repeat what I said at the start of the stream. If you knew prior to the start of this stream starting that you were going to triple captain Erling Haaland this week, the only thing I have to say to you is good luck. If you weren't sure, it's a no from me. Jay Barker says, evening James, Semenyo to Garnacho to play over Konsa. I'd play Semenyo over Konsa anyway. Nah, leave that be, I think. Leave that be. Leave that be one more week, mate. Blort says, hey James, how do you feel about Porro nowadays? Thinking Gabriel to Porro. Yeah, I'm still pretty high on Pedro. It was great against West Ham last week and got into more dangerous positions again. For me on Pedro now, there's a view of the next 3 fixtures are decent and we'll make a decision once we hit game week 12. My current strategy and plan is that he stays for me. Because I'm hoping he does well in the next 3 and I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. I kept backing him. But if the next 3 aren't great, I hit that City fixture, there might be an excuse at that point to go, okay, no, we're going to downgrade this now. And it might even be, if I did end up making that move where I said about getting Salah next week and selling Watkins, it might even be that Porro has to be my funding to get back to Watkins later on. But that's me and my strategy. Yeah, I'm still high on Pedro, mate. I'd pay the extra for him over the other Tottenham defenders, for example. That's still the case. Bad Company, hi James, bench Raul Jimenez, Johnson or Rodgers with reluctance. Brendan Rodgers. Definitely bench Brendan Rodgers, mate. Yeah, with reluctance, Morgan Rodgers, mate. Craig Meredith says play 8 Nuri or Mikalenko. Mikalenko based on my correct score predictions, mate. By the way, Darren Malloy, sorry, I forgot to give you a shout out and I appreciate you tagging me to that message earlier, mate. Thank you very much. Good man. B. Hurlin. It's probably Bruno, isn't it? I hope you're well, mate. As a minutes away from getting my second angiogram this month, so why not? What, I don't know what that is, mate, but it don't sound good. So I wish you luck. Triple captainship activated on the robot. Let's do this. Let the weekend begin. Minutes away from getting tubes up my arm. Sweet. I wish you luck, my friend. Keep us in the know how you're doing, mate. They're not at the time, like afterwards. Stoney says 1 free transfer. Evan, mate, Stoney, I'm absolutely sick to death of you, mate. If you want to DM me and say, James, why have you muted me on the channel? Then DM me and we can talk it out, mate. Like, you're just denying other people's questions and I can't be fucking arsed with it. Cameron Starr says, hi, first time listener after seeing you on Black Box. Hope you're well. I'm also a non-Haaland owner. Let's hope he stops at 1. Thank you, Cameron. I hope I did okay on there. I can't be Mark, as you well know, mate, and love the man. But I hope I did all right on there. Hopefully we'll get something sorted where the three of us can do something together quite soon. We're hoping to get that organised, that it works for all of us. Here's the thing, what I would say this, if you're a non-Haaland owner, and here's the best way to think about this, Cameron. He will go off this week. He will go off. We are going to have a red arrow. That's what's going to happen this week. And we accept it. And if that's not what happens, oh, hell yeah. But we're not expecting it. We're expecting that this is a bad week and he's going to kill us. And this is the worst one to deal with. I said there was 2 fixtures I was scared of last week and this week. 1 more to go. Yeah, it feels like he'll get at least 2 tomorrow, right? So he's going to kill us. And we should accept that. And we'll enjoy our weekend much better. We go, yeah, I knew that would happen. And we do know, don't we? Rory says, hey, James, play Gabriel or Jota out for a -4. Nothing else on the bench. Jota to what? Yeah, sell Jota for a -4. Yeah, okay, yeah, buy Harry Winks, mate. Like, sorry, to what? I'm just going to say play Gabriel, wouldn't I? Which is what I said pretty much anyway. Danny Smith says, hi, James. My 5 defenders are Vandenberg, Trent, Robertson, Gabriel and Dunk. Which 3 would you pick? You already know, mate. Actually, in seriousness, I would consider Dunk over Robertson, maybe. Trent or Gabriel not getting benched, mate. If I didn't have attackers from Arsenal or Liverpool, honestly, I think I'd just play Trent, Robertson and Gabriel. Ben Edinson says, people keep talking about getting Haaland back Gameweek 18, but what about Salah from Gameweek 15? Can't have both. Ben, what about neither, mate? What about play it your way? Listen, I look at Cole Palmer's fixtures over that period that you've just mentioned for Haaland, right? I don't particularly have a script plan to get Mo Salah back in Gameweek 15. Sure. Fixtures. Yeah, cool. All right, yeah. Everton away. That's always high scoring. Fulham at home. Tottenham away. Okay. It's all right. Not convinced. FPL Hitman says, bench one of Diaz, Emil Smith-Rowe or Vardy. Thanks, James. Tough one, that. I don't think Diaz starts. Yes, that, isn't it? Probably. Reluctant. I'd play Vardy over Smith-Rowe. Ricky Young says, bench Solanke or Johnson. Nah. None of that, mate. Tempted to start Brennan. Feel he's more of a goal threat. Solanke is not bench, mate. I don't believe that you have 7 attackers better than that. That's my opinion. My answer is play both, but if you must, I'd bench Johnson. Jamie Baker says, evening, James. Don't forget to like everyone. Do you think Mavadivi starts tonight? Currently have him starting over Pinnock. I did, and we appear to have confirmation that would appear to be the case as it stands. For our patrons, we are obviously circa sort of like 8 minutes away from the FPL deadline. So if we do have any news going around, I didn't think Leicester would be the only piece we got tonight. Do tag us on Slack to any reliable sources. Do double check sources. Someone's going to say Saka's out or some shit like that. Or Palmer's out. Don't take that out of context, kids. It's a joke, right? It's not serious. I know some people hang on the words. Ivalo says, start Sells or Sanchez. They're on the benching dilemmas, mate. They must be. The answer is Sells. Ashish says, Havertz to Cunha now or wait this week. Thanks, James. Good luck. I think if there's enough doubt, you're probably better off waiting a week, mate. Banazar says, love the Friday deadline because I can actually tune in from the US without having to wake up at 4 a.m. It benefits some, mate. Wish you well. Anton Phillips says, would you go Diaz to Garnacho, conscious on team value? Yes, I probably would. Meninda says, what's your view on Solanke now with his role for Spurs? Would Jackson be better? Sorry, I've covered already. Just Solanke is just not a sell for me in the next 3 weeks. Not a consideration unless he got injured, mate. So, if you're thinking Solanke's Jackson right now, my answer is no. No. James Daniels says, hi James, thanks for your brilliant content. Would you bench Rodgers or Strand Larson this game week? Just aware of a potential sluggish fill after midweek UCL win. Cheers. Yeah, but it was Tuesday. Carabao Cup midweek afterwards. Actually, it's a better schedule for them than it will be at other periods. Based on my predictions, I'd say Rodgers. And that's what I've got on the dilemmas. Rare one. It's because of the predictions. Yeah, I've got Rodgers above Cunha. Tag says Rodgers is 2.05 to score or assist, DCL 2.4. Who do you start and why? Dominic Calvert-Lewin. More likely to score. So there's a narrative there, and that's cool, right? I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? So Morgan Rodgers is 21-20, right? The score. DCL is 7-5. Okay, fine. So, but these are to score or assist. What are the odds on to score? And a DCL goal in an Everton team that's likely to be low scoring could very quickly be a 9-pointer, mate. So, okay, that's fine. You can use that, right? But look at the other one as well, then come to your conclusion. I think I've answered it for me, Dominic Calvert-Lewin personally. Close though. Regetta HT says I have Saka and Son. Who should I sell? Oh, crap. Jeez, man. Where's the cartel group? I'm going to message the cartel group, see if they can give me some info. Jeez, she got both. Oh no. That's a nightmare, isn't it? Here's what I'd say. If you don't have Palmer and can't move one to Palmer, I'd sell both at this moment. I'd strongly consider that. Both, Palmer, Foden, go, reassess. I'd strongly consider that. If it's just a case of selling one to Palmer or Foden specifically, crap, man. Saka in the immediate because of what Son's got afterwards. Rough. And Saka's the one I think plays this week. But I genuinely, I wouldn't be surprised if Son plays. I really mean that. There's no intel. I don't know shit. I just know that Ange Pret said he was unlikely and he hadn't trained. Don't mean he won't train tomorrow. Birth Media says you think Son will get the James treatment, only playing once a week from now on. No, we're not there, mate. We're not there. Gavin Hartzenberg, sup guys? Connor Devine says on a free hit this week. Currently got a back three of Vardy, Duncan Collins. Yeah, quite like that. Sells in goal. Yeah. Is there a defender keeper you think would be a must-have on a free hit? I don't do must-haves, Connor. Definitely not for defensive players. I could say to you Trent, Gabriel, etc. Couldn't I? No, look, you want one City one, wouldn't you? It's clear. You're going to go Haaland, Foden, and one of Vardy or Lewis. You've said you're going Vardy. That's fine. Light Dunk. Personally, if it was me, I'd possibly be throwing an Everton player in. Banazar says, always listen to you on 2 times speed, James. You sound so different at 1 time speed. Sorry about that. Apologies. Try me on that ×4, mate, and you really will get the chipmunks, mate. Rowan Carrera says, hey, James, what would your wild card be if you did it this week? I just wouldn't. Crap. I just wouldn't. Haaland be in. It'd have to be. Haaland, Foden, Palmer be in. I'd go Visser, Bumo and Vandenberg. They'd all go in. Porro would still go in. Probably Solanke, Johnson. I mean, I'd be so committed to those 3 teams. I wouldn't like it. There you go. There's a rough kind of few names for you and stuff. Ilya says, sell Trent, Gabriel, or Raya to fund Saka Palmer. Saka to Palmer, sorry. Covered this earlier for someone, didn't I? Yeah, it might have even been you. Andrew Flannery says, hi James, great content all week. Bench Hoyland or Garnacho. Oh, God. Fuck, man. Oh, shit. Why is that one so particularly tough? I've backed Garnacho, so I've got to stick with that. And I bench Hoyland. Jay Barker says, João Pedro to Wood this week or wait for Cunha or Hoyland question or anyone else sub 7 million. I'd just go João Pedro to Cunha now because that's the one I'd want moving forward. Nigel Sam says, good luck this week, James. Who would you play from Smith Rowe? Semenyo. It's not on the bench in dilemmas. I have covered though. It's Semenyo, mate. Neil Kager just wanted to say thanks, James, for the great content. All the best to you and the family. Thank you, Neil, and to you, mate. I see you sharing. I always see you, pal. Thank you, mate. Jay Barker says, play Conser or Semenyo, attacking player. Richie says, why is Aina the lowest possible outfield player on the list? Because I ain't got enough room to put all the shitty Fasses and Burgesses and all that, mate. It's just, yeah, I picked players that were relevant. Doesn't mean that Aina's the worst player in the league, mate. Come on. I told you I could have put 50 players there this week. I chose what I thought would be the most relevant ones, and these the lowest one of the relevant ones. There you go. Obviously was relevant because you mentioned him. Eddie says, which keeper up to 4.6 do you like best as downgrade from rare to fun? Palmer. Fucking hell, I'd go Fleckham, man. And I'd hate myself for it. Gavin Richardson says, hey babe, sorry I'm late. After watched that young lad in the second half this week, did you get Fizzy in the pants? And will Fizzy Morley ever be an FPL option this season? You mean Neymar? He wasn't bad, was he? Ahmed Abdel, are you saying Brentford gonna blank? What, by captaining Bumo, mate? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Unless you think like I'm always wrong, which is possible. Gary Halliwell says, hi James, already a Palmer. He's Saka to Foden, a good move. Kind of covered this, my friend, but for the benefit of those joining in late, I considered it a lot and decided not to do it. If I had multiple transfers, if I had one more free transfer available, I probably would have done it. I decided not to. So if you've got multiple free transfers, I'm going to say yes. Otherwise, I'm going to say no. Also, I don't see me wanting Foden long term as it stands at this moment. Josh Davis says, am I crazy for benching Havertz for Semenyo? I'm starting double Liverpool defences, think it'll be really tight. No, you explain yourself, Josh. You're going for an all-in strategy, and I understand that. Sean Reed says, hi James, what do you think is the best midfield in FPL currently without having the robot up top? The midfield I've got, mate. It's close. It's close in terms of lack of affordability. And listen, you can do more expensive than that because you don't have to go as powerful in defence or up front as I've gone as all the alternatives. So you could throw in Foden with that, right? If you're wild carding now, you're going Palmer, Bumo, Foden, Rodgers, one more, aren't you? What's the one more? I mean, maybe it would have been Garnacho for me, maybe. Matthew North, bench boost, Fleck and Trent, Matsurawi, Diblin, or should I calm the farms? Are we going to include an attacking player away to Manchester City and a Manchester United player who might not start? Yes and no from me, mate. Mustafa Gaming says, looking to go the entire season without Salah. Harden. Like and subscribe, people, if you haven't already. Cheers. I'm not doing that, by the way. I'm not committing to, I'm never buying these players. And Salah was a strong consideration for me this week, by the way. But I know you are, and I wish you luck, mate. Alan Goldsmith. Oh, fuck, deadline's gone. Oh, Alan Goldsmith, I'll do it anyway. Short-sighted United. Hi James, best FPL analysis out there and always an entertaining listen. Keep up the great work. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't even realise it was that late. So I don't think there was anything information-wise going around. I don't think we was expecting it anyway. Most people want to know about Arsenal most, I think, and that's not till Sunday. So it was very unlikely you were going to get it because Saka will train tomorrow or not train. Same with Son. Okay, guys, if you came just for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the subscribe button. Be truly appreciated. 7 o'clock tonight, available for all patrons. That even includes free members. What? We can support you for free. Yes, you can subscribe to us on Patreon for free. Kind of a try before you buy if you want. Publishing our best bits from the last week or so on Patreon. So you can get a flavour of some of the content that's available on Patreon. That's going to go live for all of our patrons, including free members, at 7 o'clock this evening. It's about 20 minutes or so it's not going to take you too long. Think of it as like a Soccer AM best bits or something like that. You can try it before you buy. If you want to support the show and you want to steam in head first though, you go for it, mate. No ads from Basic tier, access to Slack from Basic Plus, access to the podcast from Intermediate Plus, access to the additional video content and a Zoom call with me every week as a group, I should add. You think I've got time to speak to everybody individually. From Advanced tier as well. If you've got any questions on Patreon, that's the sort of one you can throw into my DMs and I'll happily have a discussion with you on it. Next week's content, if you've got any non-FPL questions, throw them in now, guys, and I'll do some for 15 minutes or so. I'm not going to cover any more FPL. Next week's content, I'm going to tell you, be Game Review Monday. Clash of Correspondence is going to be Tuesday this week. That's going to be Ipswich versus Leicester with Paul Gort Allen and Aaron Lagor. Clayton and James show Wednesday, so it's probably going to be People's Poll Thursday. Ask James Friday. We'll probably return to a later time in the day, although it just feels way more sensible and calmer for me to do it first thing in the morning, actually. But I know people like it because you've got the team news information largely to react upon, so I get that. Podcast on Patreon next week will be Q&A Monday, Quiz Tuesday, Tottenham probably on Wednesday, if not Tottenham. Thursday, Money in Football. Friday, be our Game Week 10 preview show. The additional content will include talking tactics, next week's team news stream ahead of Game Week 10, probably away days of my trip to Selhurst Park on Sunday, come on you Spurs, and also the midweek FPL Dilemma, which I think the advanced tier patrons are very much enjoying as a new addition this season. Right, that's the selling bit done. I hope you'll indulge me for that. Let's do some non-FPL, guys. Gavin Richardson, non-FPL. I looked at the top displayed carrier bag site on Google earlier. Do you have a favourite line of carrier bags? Yes, the twist handle ribbed bags are very much recommended. I sold for usage. Mustafa Game got to my comments. Mission accomplished. I try. It's getting to the stage now where I'm probably hardly ever going to get to everybody, but I know my format is a little bit different to others. Some will like it, some won't. For the time being, it will continue as it is. D.80. What's the best goal you've ever seen scored against Spurs? Best goal ever seen scored against Spurs? Fuck. Gee, where do you start? I kind of been them ones from my memory a little bit more than the the ones that we score, right? Best goal scored against us. Crap. Gee. Don't think we've had like too many like howitzers against us where I've been like, oh my god, wow. Can't think I've ever really applauded a goal scored against us, unless it was like a minnow team. You're like, oh, well done, Marlow. I remember 1993, Marlow. Yeah, played Marlow in a third round of cup, 1993. Ryan Giggs, same season against us. Henri's goal for Arsenal at Highbury, maybe. There's a goal a Leon player scored against us. Knight Bale scored twice. Was it Abidal who scored it? Can't remember who fucking scored it. Perla on the half volley. It was so gorgeous. That's a decent shout. Absolute screaming howitzers against. I'm trying to brack 30 years of football in my brain now. I can't think too many. Haaland opener against us last season. That'll piss the gooners off, won't it? Jerry W. Hello, Jimbo. Who's going to get sacked first between Glasner, Martin, O'Neill if they fail to win next three? Someone's not. I think Glasner will be okay. I think, but he did suddenly starting to get a bit concerning. Him saying, motivation issue and stuff. Okay. Depends whether Southampton really want to stick with the philosophy or not, right? I guess. I don't know. And O'Neill, I feel sorry for him, man. Fixtures have been so rough. So, but I also feel like it depends, right? Say like with Russ and Martin, there's two schools of thought with this. One, I don't think any of us from a neutral perspective think that they'll stay up if he stays in charge. But I also accept the idea if you go, right, well, this is the guy long term. Let's go down with him. Let's come back with him. Like, I get it. But you'd make for a shit season. But I get it. I'm sure that's what Burnley were thinking last year with Vincent Kompany, right? So I get it. I don't have any dislike for any of those three individuals. Gary O'Neill will be in really big trouble if the result tomorrow is obviously important, but if they don't play well tomorrow, he's in trouble. And then if the Palace game goes bad, that's live on the telly next week. It's the 5:30. Where if that goes bad, he's in trouble. Gavin Sharp, you're very welcome, mate. Thomas Powell says, hey, James, if the FPL cartel was real, which creator would be the following? Kingpin, Fixer, Fence, Getaway Driver, and Hitman. I don't know what half of them mean. Like, who's the key there? Is that the Kingpin? Like, is that the big boss? What's Fence? What does that mean? Getaway driver would be Suj, no doubt about it. Hitman would be Nico. He doesn't create content. He does with me on Patreon. On Nico's Corner every Monday, normally, most Mondays, where he tries to get me cancelled, basically. We end up having a discussion this week about a man who had 3 penises. That's true, yeah. Yeah, you can think about that yourselves if you want to. Who'd be? I'm not dragging content creators into this, Thomas. They're all great, right? Neil Kager, thanks, James. Take care, everyone. You're very welcome. Gavin Richardson. Which do you enjoy doing most, Money in Football or COTC? Oh, COTC, mate. And nothing against Money in Football, which is one of our regular Patreon shows. Catch the Correspondence is probably the best for me. I'm speaking to my guys every week, right? So, and they're always different guys. Obviously, I don't have the same guys on 2 weeks in a row. So, yeah, I always really look forward to them. You know, kind of at a top of the table clash this week, if you will. I realise Newcastle might be a bit behind that. Gary and Sides, big fixture. This week, not so much. But then I really enjoy that, you know, the learning a bit more about what's happening with Ipswich and Leicester and getting that vibe of how they're feeling. So, yeah, COTC, it's probably my favourite of the week anyway, just overall probably to... I mean, they're all friends. I'm very blessed. All the correspondents have become friends now, basically. So, virtual friends in most cases, but not all of them. So, yeah, I mean, COTC is probably my favourite to record anyway. Sweet Blue says, speaking of Patreon content, how did you go through all of Nico's Corner without mentioning Nico's hat or whatever that is? I did mention it to him in the office earlier in the day, though, mate. You told him he looked like Scott Steiner. Sean Reed says, Lampard, Gerrard or Scholes? Don't fucking... I haven't got any to pull out, have I? Paul Scholes, and I'm going to move on fast, mate. That's always been my opinion. And I don't care to explain it because we've done it so many times before. Jerry Darmiu says, during Abramovich era at Chelsea, his policy of constant sacking underperforming managers worked well. Why does no club do that nowadays? Do they value sustainability over achievement? What works at one club doesn't necessarily work at another, right? You know, if you think of Arsenal and Wenger, and now with Arteta, presumably, Liverpool with Klopp, and even people before that, you know, even successes under Rafa Benitez and going back to, you know, Paisley's and Shankly's and stuff like that, all longer term stuff and that. Whereas Chelsea's success was never long term. So that worked as a model for Chelsea and was absolutely fine. It was working fine for Manchester City, and that's changed now with Guardiola. And I think actually the intention of the people in charge of Chelsea is to have a longer term manager, which is why they've been appointing people like Potter, Pochettino, Maresca over the last couple of years, is they now want that longer term one. You know, Tottenham tried the win now approach. That went well, didn't it? Fucking hell, mate. Thomas Thornton says, do you think Liverpool could win the league with the injuries the others have had? What do you think of slot ball? Love the content as always, best available. It's really difficult to judge at the moment, in seriousness, where we're at with Liverpool, because for me they've only really had, this isn't to downplay what they've done in any way, they've been exceptional, right? But I guess we kind of expected them to start really well with the fixtures they've had. Yes, beating Chelsea is a good result, but we still kind of expect Liverpool to win games like that at Anfield, don't we? So they haven't achieved anything that I think's beyond expectation. There's also the weird result in there with Nottingham Forest. So don't get me wrong, like 11 out of 12 in all comps, like that's a joke. That is incredible for consistency. And you've got to have that consistency at the top of the table to compete. So they've given themselves a chance, without a doubt. But I don't quite have the read on them yet to know how strong they are defensively. We're going to find out real quick now, right? Over, you know, it's Arsenal and Man City across the next 5. Once you come out the City fixture, we'll have a better understanding, I think. They're definitely... and I tried to explain this on Monday's podcast and said this is not a criticism. Definitely a little bit more passive and restrained, maybe might be a better word. Again, not criticism, it's just an adaptable style. But that also might help them with consistency. So you're not changing the variables where they lose a game unexpected, but they win 5-0 next week. It might be in between the two and just win both 2-0. Might be like that. And that won't be bad for them. So don't think we know yet. And because of the problems Arsenal got, I'm not sure that we'll know on Sunday. And look, obviously, if Liverpool lose on Sunday, it's not like, oh, they're out of the title race. No, it's not. And also, if they beat Arsenal, I wouldn't deem it that, like, oh, they're better than Arsenal, they're going to be City's main challengers. I mean, too early to say. What I would say is, I think a lot of us thought that they'd probably have a dip this year, i.e. they might even be in a position where qualifying for the Champions League might not be straightforward. As it looks right now, you'd say, well, there'd be certainties. But also, we haven't really seen... They've obviously had the one bad result against Forest. And I've obviously responded incredibly. There'll come a point where they have two bad results in a row, even if that's like a cup game and a league game. How do they then respond? Let's see. I've not really kind of been put under proper duress as yet. I mean, we joked after they lost to Forest. Oh, honeymoon period's over. What a recovery. So, like, full credit to them. I obviously hope they win on Sunday. I'd like them to be involved in the title race, but I don't think we could say definitively as yet one way or the other. But at the moment, we've got a chance, no doubt. Sean says, do you think United are broken beyond repair at this point? I genuinely think that the size and pressure of the club is just too much for 95% of the players' staff now. Might be. Yeah, it might be. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But why does that explain away that people didn't have that pressure previously? Is that all down to Sir Alex Ferguson? Now, United's savable. I think they're obviously changing the model a little bit with the football operations, which isn't it's not a quick fix, I'm afraid. It will take a little bit of time. United will get back there. There's an inevitability. Owen Walsh says, any thoughts on Kelleher's future? Has made it clear to Liverpool he wants to leave and play. Club not budging. Yeah, I mean, they won about 30 million or so. I don't really see anyone paying that. Like, he's decent, but I'm not sure. Like, I know Forest have been linked to him. Is he, like, definitively that much better than Belgium's #1 goalkeeper? And I realise Courtois doesn't want to play for them. Is it? I don't know, man. So, like, I think he'd be a decent #1 for someone, but I think his level is bottom half as a #1. Keith Rowley, good luck, boss. Stephen Carr says, James, what's your memory of the Man United 5-3 comeback win against Spurs? And Stephen Carr didn't play, and that season would have been a lot better if he had. I think he missed the whole of that season, actually. Standing on the chair at halftime, literally getting up and standing on the chair and giving him a standing ovation from the fucking chair at halftime. It went off, honestly. I never did that again, ever. Ever. As soon as United scored the first, you knew what was coming. It's weird. Knew it as soon as I got the first. It's like, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Disaster, mate. Gavin Sharp, where do you think Brighton will finish this season? 8th or 9th. Gavin says, patron stuff. Did I miss the pod where Suj was going to talk about his thoughts on feels something bad could happen at a match soon, fearing more than a prediction? Okay, no, not really. No, we did put it out as a people's poll about a discussion on security. We could look at doing that, Gavin. Yeah. If it's not something to put on the agenda in the next couple of weeks, come back and remind me of that. Yeah, because that the psyche again at the moment. It is something I want to cover. Yeah, I'm a little fearful of it as well, actually. The Smiths 1986 says Lanzini equaliser in recent years. It's not the best goal ever scored against us, is it, mate? Come on. Lloris went to save it with his wrong hand and stuff, people were saying. So you can't say it's definitely not the best goal scored against us. Tool Nerd TV, Rakitic for Barcelona at Wembley, probably the best goal I've seen scored against us for me. Yeah, let's put that there because Messi played a great pass in behind to get that going. So yeah, let's start with that, mate. Greg Frost, did Okocha get one against Spurs for Bolton? Probably. We have a few. Ivan Campos scored an absurd goal against us from long range. Daisy cutter from about 40 yards. Kevin Nolan got a brilliant one against us one Monday night. That was a proper kind of howitzer, actually. Okocha. No, I remember him playing a game at our play. I think he hit the bar twice and didn't. Not twice, 3 times, I think. Didn't score. That's my phone that I clearly didn't want anymore. Oh, Sam Vine says fence sells the goods. Okay, cool. Gavin Richardson, thanks to the feed. I hope Arsenal lose to a very bad VAR decision this weekend so we can laugh at Arteta being a disgrace. Smash like yo. No, you know what I'd like more? It was just proper shit. Just lost 3-0 would just be even better, wouldn't it? Let's have a quick check this Forest team, shall we? It should be out now, shouldn't it? They've done it in number order. Hudson-Odoi does start. Same team, I think. James Ward-Prowse is a substitute. Pretty sure, unless I'm missing something there. Yeah, it looks like same team for Nottingham Forest. It's obviously no Gibbs White. Leicester. No surprise that Sam's leaked team was correct. Lou Boo says it's surely the amount of money top coaches demand now is not worth sacking a lot of time now. There's that as well. Fan DiMaggi says, hello mate, I'm a new sub. Welcome. Says, I have more or less the same style of team as you. No Haaland, no Salah, Palmer, Saka draft. You could argue they are more passive because the lack of Rodri. I wasn't talking about City being more passive, mate. I'm talking about Liverpool. But welcome. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that incorrectly. Mehul says, I'm not from UK and a Liverpool supporter. I would like to visit Anfield and see a match live at the stadium. How can I manage to get a ticket and what would be the cost expected? You're better off asking a Liverpool fan because I don't know how the system works there. But cost, I don't know, average ticket price, I don't know, 60 quid, something like that, maybe at Liverpool. I don't know, maybe it depends where you sit and stuff like that. I can't answer the question, mate, because it would be different at different clubs. And I wouldn't even answer it where someone asked me for Tottenham because I'm like, I don't have to get tickets, right? I have my ticket every game, so. Thomas Powers, it didn't mean anything bad with a cartel question. No, you're good, mate. I don't want to throw anyone under a bus, mate. To make up for it, how good was Eriksen versus Swansea in the FA Cup quarter-final a few years back? Best performance I've seen down there. Yeah, very good. Lamella got a good goal that day as well. Swansea weren't at it, in fairness. Won 3-0. That was an early kick. Got proper drunk that day. Wasn't that the same day Salah got 4 goals against Watford? James, your memory is unbelievable. Yes, I think it was. I think that's right. That would be right, wouldn't it? Blank game week, quarter final. We won at Swansea lunchtime. Salah went off in the evening. I was proper pissed by then. Proper pissed. Yeah, he was good, Christian. When he was good, he was good. And yeah, he was powering around about that time, mate. Jerry says, how secure do you think Lopetegui's job is at West Ham if he failed to get results in the next few? I don't think it is. Actually. Because I think if you come into the next few and then there's like Newcastle, Arsenal away, yeah, start looking over your shoulder, mate. Yeah, I don't think it is. Like, I'm not saying to sack him, right? But I think if results were to continue to be bad, I don't think it is because, excuse me, the performance against Chelsea in the opening 20 minutes was a managerial problem. Honestly, I analysed it on Talking Tactics. It was down to the manager. They got so twatted in the opening period of that game. Is that on him the opening 15 minutes of the second half at Tottenham last week? More of a debate. But yeah, losing to two teams that they're kind of rival with, 3-0 home, 4-1 away, that's not going to endear you, mate. They have had tough home fixtures so far, in fairness. The one they didn't, they won 4-1. So, as a Stoke fan, the Gareth Bale volley against us is the craziest thing I've seen. Like, I was there, mate. It was at the other end. It was, yeah. Woo! True story. Got back. I've told this before. Got back in the car. This is true. Got back in the car afterwards, and I put the radio on. Harry Redknapp was on. He was saying, "I still see him as a left back in the long term." Like, Harry, get over this now, mate. Mainly minimal. Moreno on his debut for Liverpool against us. Can't be that good, mate. It's not there. Leo says, how's Harry? He's very well, thank you, mate. Yeah, he's doing good. He dressed up in a little skeleton outfit today for Halloween. I know it's a week early, but they're on half term next week. He's had a really good day. He's doing well. Appreciate asking. Thank you, mate. Tool Nerd TV says, would love to hear the Emirates turn toxic after Gakpo rounds Raya to make it 3-0 in the 65th minute. Lovely stuff. I don't think it would, actually. Not against Liverpool. There's Facere. First time I've ever brought wood. Hope he comes good. No one's going to misinterpret that, mate. Almost says, this might be too current for this part of this stream and understand that, but curious to know your read on City versus Liverpool's fixtures. Gameweek 10 to 8. Yeah, I get it's partly FPL as well. They've both got good runs overall. Right. I'll tell you exactly if you want. Just bear me. You can see I've probably gone quite bright because it's me opening up my ticker. Gameweek 10 to 18. I mean, it will look better for Liverpool after this week as well. Be quite close, I should imagine. What's the Gameweek 18 fixtures? Yeah. I actually haven't gone up to 18 and my ticker gone up to 17. Who's the 18 fixture? I'll tell you. So City are Everton away, Liverpool, Leicester at home. I'd rank them equal, actually. For that period, Gameweek 10 to 18, I've got them ranked exactly equal. So, if that's the read you was looking for, that's what I've got on my planner, which you can access from Basic Plus tier on Patreon. That's one of the weird and wonderful features you'll find on my planner is difficulty ratings over various periods. Abid Ram says, will Russell Martin be the first manager to get sacked? Appreciate the questions. I'm just asked about Russell Martin and Gary O'Neill a few minutes ago, so I'm going to skip that, but thank you. Fan Maggie says, went for Watkins captain, didn't go for a Palmer captain. Hoping I don't regret it. Good luck. Thank you, Leo. Lou Boo says, I also saw as a Stoke fan the Crouch screamer against City and the Begovic goal from kickoff, which was crazy to watch. I think Jerry Darmou's possibly got the last one here. Says, do you think Pochettino is the best Spurs manager in the 21st century, or is it Martin Joel or even Harry Redknapp? No, it's Pochettino, mate. Oh, you're defined by trophies. Oh, yeah, great. It's Wando Ramos. No, it's not, is it? No. Pochettino picked that football club up off the floor and gave the people truly something to believe in so comfortably by a distance. The connection was phenomenal. He took my football club to a place I never thought he could get to, and will forever be thankful of that. So, yeah, Pochettino by a long way, mate. Leo, as far as I'm aware, Suj is doing well. Good luck, host. And Lubo, it's definitely not AVB, mate. Right, I shall leave it there, guys. As said, if you want to support the show on Patreon, www.patreon.com/planetfpl, you can sign up even as a free member. The best bits will be published at 7 o'clock, which gives you a flavour of all of our content on Patreon during the course of a week. But other than that, just leaves me to say, have a great weekend. Hope your arrows are green. Don't suppose anyone's going to be too red tonight, but maybe Chris Wood owners will have some more success. I've sold Jamie Vardy, so he's definitely going to score. Get some money on him to score first. Please gamble responsibly if you do so. Have a great weekend, everyone. Suj will be back with me for the game review on Monday. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Smash a like.